Hey y'all, it's Care. We're gonna be doing a bookshelf tour today. So both of these large bookcases that I have here are full of all of the books that I have read. This is full of the books that I own that I have not read. And then I also have not read these. That's my little TBR cart. Alright, so bear with me for a second because I know this is not the best angle, but I'm gonna use my blurry finger to kind of show you what is what. So these are my symbology books. Everything from the green one over to the cookbooks are all of my true crime collection. I kind of want to do an entirely separate video on those books just because I think they're so interesting. And then like I said, I have some cookbooks in the middle, and then if you look over to the right, those are all classics that I've long listed for now. So if a classic is up there, then I don't have any plans to read it in the immediate future. Okay, I feel like this shelf is very fun to look at. So here, everything that's horizontal, absolutely love. Well, I should say, this entire shelf is just a complete favorites shelf. These are all of my thriller and horror books that I just would die for. I love these books so much. If I had to point at my absolute favorites though, definitely No Exit by Taylor Adams, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. You know what, I could just stand here and name all of these books, but definitely the Dennis Lehanes as well, especially Shutter Island. I love my Chuck books, and I actually love Grady Hendrix as well. So as you probably see, these are all thriller books that I own, multiple copies of different books from the same author. That did not come out right, but like these are my Riley Sager books. I have my Ruth Ware books, ranging from The Lying Game to The Woman in Cabin 10. I have my two Karen Slaughter books that I absolutely love. I highly, highly, highly recommend Pretty Girls and The Good Daughter. I know everyone else does too, but I just wanted to toss my hat in the ring saying that I also love those books. And then, oof, an all-time favorite, Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I didn't love Neverworld Wake as much as I love Night Film. Neverworld Wake is YA, but Night Film is not. And if you like weird noir-style detective-ish stories, this guy is not technically a detective, but it kind of read like one. These are all thrillers that were okay, but I did not love them. In hindsight, Nine Perfect Strangers and The Lovely Bones are actually very good, as are Into the Water by Paula Hawkins and The Circle and Station 11. Those are some books that I actually really do like on this shelf, but they weren't good enough to make it onto like my favorites thriller shelf, and they just kind of made sense together here. I've got some hardbacks here, and then these are all paperback books. This is a fun, quirky little cube. This shelf is different. The best way I know how to explain this basket is that I really liked all of these books, and they're all either horror or thriller books. I was about to pull out some to show you some standouts, but in my opinion, they're all standouts. I love that cover of My Sister the Serial Killer, so I will show you that one. This is a very short mystery thriller book if you're looking for a short, fun read. And then I also love Kill Creek and just don't know if I've talked about it enough on my channel. This was such another just very unique horror book that I'm so glad that I read last year in 2020. Now this one is my very favorite shelf that I have. It's all of my romance books, my romantic comedies mostly. There's some of them are like contemporary romance, new adult romance, but they're all my very fun favorite reads. Some favorite highlights from the horizontal stack are definitely Red, White, and Royal Blue, The Hating Game, The Honey Don't List, and my favorite Half Night Stand. I love those two Christina Lauren books. Beach Read by Emily Henry is one of my very favorite books of all time, and then I also absolutely love the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. The next one comes out later this year, and I can't wait to get it and add it. I'm right there. I'm saving that little spot for actor age Eve Brown. And then these three are some more all-time favorites. The Simple Wild and Wild at Heart. Both take place in Alaska, and it's a hate to love romance. It's so fun. And then one that I finished last night, actually, You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. This was way too good to be a debut novel. It blew my mind. It was so incredibly funny and sweet, and I just thought it was so refreshing. It felt different than the other things I've been reading in the genre recently. And then up here, I've just got some pens because all of my journals are right here. You can't see them from how my bookshelves are set up, but this is my best friend and me and my little sunshine snow globe. So these are my all-time favorites that I own hardcover copies of. So The Vanishing Half and A Little Life are just two of my all-time favorites, and I also love the covers on both of those. those. So I faced them out, and then I have my Bachmans here, Where the Crawdads Sing, and The Mothers by Britt Bennett. I actually don't know if I would classify The Mothers as an absolute all-time favorite, but I do love this book, and I didn't want to have a hard copy version of it and not put it next to The Vanishing Half. I think that Britt Bennett is such a talented author. These are just some more books that I really love. I have my Celeste Ings here. I have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which once my dad reads Daisy Jones and the Six and returns it to me, I'll probably put it somewhere on this shelf. I could go through every single one, but just know, like, if they're on this shelf, I enjoyed the book, except for Ask Again Yes. I didn't love Ask Again Yes, but it just kind of fit in with the theme I was going for here. There's some, like, most of these are contemporaries or some historical fiction, but it just made sense here, so that's why Ask Again Yes is right there. This is my cute little baby classics shelf. These are the only 3 classics that I own that I have read. I used to really love classics, but I would check them out from the school library. So a lot of the classics that I've read, I've never owned. So I do have 2 copies of Anna Karenina there, and then Little Women off to the side. And for some reason, I just have a little bit of a tree theme going on with this shelf, from the little tree over here, the little Christmas tree, to the little wooden things, if you can see them back there. Those are branch remnants from a tree that I used to climb on when I was a little girl. And then another little tree up in the front there. I think they're so cute. I really love this shelf and can't wait to watch it grow this year. This is my historical fiction shelf. I can't recommend The Poisonwood Bible and Cold Sassy Tree highly enough. I also really love Outlander, but this is the only one from the Outlander series that I've read, and I refuse to watch the show until I've like read enough of the books to feel like I'm not gonna get spoiled. And then I also want to do a shout out that I should have done a long time ago, but I talked about these small businesses that make these bookmarks in a few of my vlogs, and then all of the vlogs have gotten scrapped, so I'm just gonna do it here. These are made by my friend Christine. They're handmade watercolor bookmarks, and I will link her shop in the description of the video, and I guess her Instagram page as well. It's called the Sevy Shop. And then my friend Claudia from the Bookables makes these in her shop, and her Instagram will be in the description as well. I've gotten Phoebe and Rachel from Friends, Tina from Bob's Burgers, the little Lizzie McGuire character. She's so cute. I have Pennywise from Stephen King's It. And also, I have all 4 members of the Schitt's Creek cast, but I'm currently using the Moira and the Johnny Rose one. So this is my nonfiction shelf. On the left, I have 3 of my favorite memoirs from women of comedy: Anna Kendrick, Tina Fey, and Mindy Kaling. And then lying horizontally on the bottom, The Spy and Big Fish were 2 books that I don't want to unhaul, but I didn't necessarily love them. And then sitting atop those 2 books are 3 of my very favorite nonfiction books that I've ever read, that are, all 3 of them are just so hard-hitting and really sad. And then getting into my trinkets, I have Ganesh sitting there. He is lucky. And then I've got some of my favorite pictures, some of my best friends, Emma and Megan, and my cousin Avery. This is just like my favorite photograph of all time, and I used to have it in a frame and I don't now, and I had it in a book, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna put it out on my bookshelf because it's so cute sitting right there. This is what the top of my unread bookcase looks like. Here we have all of my short hardbacks. So these aren't defined by genre, it's just like if they're the little short cute hardbacks, I put them all together here. And then this is actually where I keep any library books that I currently have checked out. So right now I have Trust Exercise, The Last Mrs. Parrish, and Twice in a Blue Moon checked out from the library. I keep them there so I can keep track of them and they don't get mixed in with all of my other books. Now this first cube is actually a really fun one because it is all of my fantasy, sci-fi, and speculative fiction books and anything with like magical realism that I know of. I tried to fit it into this cube. The next cube is full of my unread historical fiction books besides In the Woods and The Murder Room. I don't know why they're in this cube. I just didn't really have anywhere else to stick them. They're both thrillers, I'm pretty sure, but the rest are historical fiction. I am very excited for The Shadow of the Wind and Live by Night and Miss Benson's Beetle. Like out of all of these, those are the 3 probably that I'm most excited to get to soon. And then scooting it over just a little bit, I totally did not mean for this to be like a white, black, and blue theme, but these are just some contemporary books that I have. Of course, we have Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, which is the sequel to Beartown, Ohio by Stephen Markley, and The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay sound like they're going to be very hard-hitting and right up my alley, so those 2 I'm very excited for as well. And I just put Insane City on my 2021 TBR. Now we're getting into some nonfiction with this cube right here. These are all writing books, like books about writing with writing advice. I have some short story collections and some memoirs through right here, and then starting with the red spine over, that's my little mini poetry collection. And how convenient, you can also see my romance cube here. All of these that are horizontal are just really high priorities for me. I'm really excited about every single book that's horizontal. Now this one is just kind of a catch-all shelf. I don't really know how to explain this. I have some classics here. I have historical fiction, some non-fiction, a short story collection, and then some Donna Tartt books and another modern classic. Alright, so all of these are unread thrillers that I have. I'm probably most excited for The Kind Worth Killing just because I feel like it's such a staple in the thriller genre, and even though I kind of know what it's about, I don't think that anything has been spoiled for me yet. Moving on to this cube, these are all of my horror books, and I think some of these are thrillers as well. The lines kind of get blurry as I'm looking for space to shove all of these books. I've been saying that I'm gonna read Bunny for like a year now, and I still have not. I know I'm gonna think it's just weird and creepy and right up my alley. And then for my last cube here, I just have another random assortment of books. I am so excited about Outlaw by Anna North. This was my January pick for book of the month. I think the cover is beautiful. I think the plot sounds really interesting. It's gonna be a Western. I love Western movies, but I don't think I've ever read a Western book. And now lastly, let's just quickly go over my TBR cart. So my cart has 3 different layers, and this top layer are books that I either have already started and I'm well into, or books that I know I'm gonna have to read this month or next month. So for instance, Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell and The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton are my book club's January and February picks, the Page Turner book club. So I know I've got to read those soon. I'm over halfway through with The Great Alone, so I put it in the top here just so it has to stare at me. Same with Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. Like, I've started both of those books. I'm well into both of those books, so if they sit on top like this, they just stare at me so that I'm reminded that I need to pick them back up and finish them. And I hate to say it, but the second row of books are also all of the books that I'm currently reading. I should have mentioned, those are just the hardbacks. These are the paperbacks. It's just insane, you guys. One to watch, I probably only have 100 pages left, and for some reason I just will not pick it up and finish it. And the crazy thing is that I like the book. I just won't finish it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I could go around and say the same thing about every single one of these books. I am for real currently reading The Passengers though. That's why I put it on the end so that I can just push it out like that and grab it whenever I want it. This bottom row is very shallow, so I had to put all of my small mass market paperback books that I have not read on this bottom shelf. So these 4 are Karen Slaughter books. This is a true crime book. That's also like a true crime / nonfiction-ish book. And then I've got another poetry book down here, which I'm debating if I just want to put it in my poetry collection or like, I don't know, I think it's cute with all the other small books down here. And I have Don Quixote and The Silent History as well, because they're kind of small. Well, hey there. I just finished editing this video the next day, and I realized I never filmed an outro clip. I just slapped the camera off as soon as I finished filming my last cube. What you didn't see was the 40 minutes of raw footage of me trying to adjust my tripod to stay still for each different shelf or cube that I was trying to talk about. I had so much fun doing that. I love commemorating my shelves as I like change up the organization of them. I did one of these last year too. I can put the link to that video in the description if you're interested in it. I really hope everyone's having a great weekend, and I hope you have a nice, productive, and relaxing week. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.